All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining and being on time. Great job so far. Just a few housekeeping rules. Upon arrival into the Zoom room, if you can please keep yourselves on mute until you have a question to ask or something. Please refrain from cutting the facilitator off. If you do have questions to ask, please use the raise hand function at the bottom of your screen in your reactions box, or you can simply put your questions in the chat box as well. And finally, we're asking everyone to use their full names because, as we mentioned yesterday, we are taking attendance. So if you can use your full name, hi, hello. You can use your full name so that we can take attendance. And like Anisha, you can also make the kiddies join. Everybody is free to learn about agriculture. You can stay. So please, thank you so much again for joining this evening. Today, I'm really excited. I'm sure probably many of you have not maybe experienced this before, but with a lot of agricultural programming, usually you don't see that it started with agribusiness and market linkages. When we started Helen's Daughters, that was one of the biggest problems that we saw. Our farmers were constantly trained in production and not trained to be entrepreneurs, not trained to be business owners. Yet they commented a lot about, oh, we don't have access to funding and we don't know how to do record keeping and so on. But again, it's because the training was quite lacking, which is why we are starting with agribusiness and market linkages. And we have such an able-bodied presenter and facilitator and mentor in Miss Nisha Glasgow, who will take you along this 3-week journey. I will just briefly introduce Miss Glasgow and then she'll take it away. So Miss Nisha Glasgow is born and bred, of course, in St. Vincent. She holds a BSc in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I should say. She holds a BSc in Agribusiness Management from the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine, Trinidad and Tobago. She is presently the Business Development Field Officer at the Center for Enterprise Development with responsibility for delivering business development services to business in SVG. In this capacity, she is tasked with a variety of responsibilities to contribute to the development of an entrepreneurial skills base among SMEs, as well as agriculture cluster development implementation plans. Ms. Glasgow presently is providing management services in the agro-marketing sector, where she is involved in the marketing and distribution of fresh agricultural produce, including relations both regionally and internationally. As part of the agro-industry clustering development, Ms. Glasgow participates in agriculture trade related to capacity building events, which highlights areas in agriculture trade policy and market access issues. Ms. Glasgow has been awarded the Agriculture Youth Entrepreneur in her community and has used this accolade to work and encourage youth to join and make contributions to the sector. She has facilitated the development and implementation of the Agribusiness Summer Program and worked along with the Caribbean Innovation Challenge, which is designed to introduce youths to the area entrepreneurial skills development. She has years of experience working along with agricultural groups and management of businesses. We saw in our last cohort how she had transformed their mindset from just being a producer, or like some of you like to just say, I'm just a backyard farmer. One person even said, I'm unemployed, but I'm a backyard farmer, but I have poultry as well. No, Ms. Glasgow will be changing your mindset and creating in you that you can become an agricultural entrepreneur. And that's the most important thing, I think one of the most important things that should come out of this program. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Ms. Nisha Glasgow.
Thank you, Caitlin. Good afternoon, ladies. And quite a mouthful, but we're going to try to make it as practical and fun as possible. So let me formally say good evening, ladies, and let me welcome you to the Helen's Daughter Women Farmers Economy Women Empowerment Program, SVG Cohort 2. As Caitlin said, my name is Nisha Glasgow, and I have absolutely no problem with you addressing me as Nisha. So I want you to feel free and relaxed, comfortable. We're going to be spending basically 6 hours together over the next, 3 days over the next couple weeks. And I want you to be as relaxed as possible. As Caitlin outlined, we will be looking at market linkages and agribusiness. And yes, we have decided to start with market linkages and agribusiness because yesterday, when I listened in the orientation session, I realized that a lot of you have backyard gardens already. And I think that is absolutely great. So Caitlin did all the introduction. So my background is in agriculture. And for the past couple of years, I have been working in agribusiness and cluster development. My family owns a small farm that we have been operating for the past 15 years or so commercially, and I work and continue to work with small and medium-priced enterprises. I really love to help them to achieve their goals. So yesterday, as I was saying, I noticed that a number of you stated that you have small backyard gardens and you love doing farming. And I also realized that I am now in the company of a wealth of knowledge and experience. I think you ladies are amazing. And I listened and I paid attention, and I hope that over the next 8 weeks, you're able to not only learn from us as facilitators, but also share that wealth of knowledge and experience that you have with us and one another, so that by the end of the 8 weeks, we have such a huge mindset changed, and we can impact not only the agriculture industry, but first and foremost, ourselves, our families, and our communities. So as I was saying, you are at a different stage in your walk to independence, and I would like, being a member of the agriculture fraternity, I would like to thank you for choosing agriculture as your catalyst for change in your lives. I trust at the end of the 8 weeks, you would have grown to appreciate more what agribusiness brings and the super benefits that can be derived and the game changer that it is. So without further ado, let's start looking at agriculture, not only for pleasure, but also for business. All right. Remember, keep bearing in mind going forward that this is a woman empowerment program. We want to move you from where you are, and we want to create some sort of change after this 8 weeks. So we're not going to happen overnight. We're fully aware of that, but we want to provide you with the necessary information and tools so that we can see some level of change in you as an individual, and then at the end of the day, your family and the economy in St. Vincent and Grenadines. All right. There are a few, for my session, there are a few housekeeping. I hope that you are hearing me. Everybody is hearing me. Can you just give me some thumbs up? Can I just get a sound check? Everybody's hearing me just fine?
Yeah, I'm hearing you good.
All
Yes,
right, good.
Yes.
I'm hearing you too.
Right, good. Good. So, thank you. So there are a few housekeeping rules we need to cover. First thing, for the 3 sessions that we're going to spend together, I would like 2 volunteers each. So I want 2 volunteers today for Monday to recap each session. So that's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna spend time together, and I want 2 volunteers who will do a recap of what we did today on Monday. We're gonna start with that, God's willing, on Monday. But there is one request that I have in terms of the recap. It must be creative. So whether a song, a dance, a poem, you want us to jump, something different than you just reading out what was said. We already looked at it. So I want you to bring out a bit of creativity. Agriculture people is full of creativity. So we're not because we're not in the creative industry. Agriculture impacts every sector of our economy. So I know you are full of creative juices, and I want you to bring that out while you're doing the recap. So can I have 2 volunteers quickly? ladies, I know we had a long day and I know you're a bit tired.
I would volunteer.
And that would be, I didn't.
Oh,
Helen?
Johnny King.
Okay, so Johnny is going to do.
And I'll volunteer.
Give me the
Okay,
name.
and that was
Labor.
Labor?
Yes.
Okay, so ladies, we are large. We're a large group. So I might not see some of the hands or I might not see things. So all you just need to, no problem. You can just stop me and say, Niche, you know, I have my hand up, or can I ask a question? Or I said, so because we are very large. All right. So let's work with that. So thank you, ladies. So that would be Janelle. Janelle, did I get that right? Or that's Janelle?
Janelle. Janelle King.
And Anika would be volunteering for us on Monday.
Inca.
So they would be Ayinka.
No, just Inca.
Oh, your ear is silent. Sorry,
Yeah.
Inka.
It's okay.
Sorry, Inka. Right. So you would do recap for us on Monday, God's willing. Okay. So that's the second thing we want to have a little bit of conversation about is that this is an 8-week program and you're not going to remember everything. I know you're going to have access to the recording after, and you're also going to have access to other information. But what we would like to do, since it's an empowerment program, and we want to see how the information and the tools that were given to you change and impact you somewhere along the line, what we would encourage you to do is to keep a journal. So whether it's a notebook, a notepad, or now we use electronic devices, so that you can keep notes going forward, that you can always look back. So for those who have to do the recap, then it's a perfect tool that you can use in terms of getting the necessary information to do your recap. So we are encouraging you to keep a journal. The Helen's daughter, Keatlin, and Linnell is working on that. They are working on that for you. But I want to suggest something. So Keatlin, is it possible for me to just share my screen?
Sure, Linnell, can you just provide her with the screen permissions?
Yes.
Thank you.
Nerissa, are you not seeing me or are you not hearing me?
Are you able to share now, Nisha?
Okay, so let me try. Are you seeing? You seeing my screen? Okay, so it's just an example I would like to show you in terms of a learning log that you can use as part of your journal. So you can say, for example, what did I do? So I participated in the training and we look at market linkages and agribusiness. How do I feel about this? You can express your interest. It was something that I wanted to participate in. The information was good, or the information was not what I expected. What did I think about but did not say? I probably had a question on markets, but I chose not to ask. All right. How well or badly did it go? What did I learn? So I probably asked a question or something else was said during the presentation and it clicked with me or it connected with me. And I want to jot it down to make sure that I remember it or can go back and check. What will I do differently next time? And next time I probably might ask that question that I had burning inside me and wanted to ask, right? How will I do it differently next time? I might probably raise my hand, right? And actually have a discussion or initiate a discussion on the topic that I wanted to discuss, that question that I have. What have I achieved? I probably got an answer. And it's now clearer in my mind, that question that I have. And what did I learn about myself? I know yesterday some persons say that they're not public speakers. I hope at the end of this 8-week program, that's one of the change that you would see. All right. So what I've learned about myself, that I am probably assertive and that I love to ask questions when I don't understand something. How have I put any theory into practice? Then again, you will be able to answer that. And how does what I have been doing led me to becoming better at a scale? How can I use this plan for the future? And how can I use this plan, new learning experiences? As I said, it's just an example in terms of putting a frame to what you're thinking and what you would like to see happening. All right, so it's just an example. Stop sharing now. All right, good. Right, so we talked about the recap and we're looking at the journal. And lastly, what I would expect in terms of from you is that participants interact, you ask questions, you share your experiences, and we basically help each other along the way while the presentations are going on. If there are things that you're not clear about, you can either jot it down in the journal and then you will have a Q&A. God, we could utilize the time wisely. You have a Q&A, you can ask questions, or you could jot it, as Caitlin said, in the chat, and I'll see how best I could answer it. If I cannot answer it tonight or at any other session, I would try to reply to you probably in the next session. So I'll try to facilitate as much as possible going forward. Are there any questions as it relates to the housekeeping rules? Ladies, I'm not hearing you.
There was one question in the chat from Annie Bob. Will it be possible to get a copy of this outline?
I did send it to Caitlin and Linnell. I think they're putting together a journal for you. It's possible that you might get access to
you will
outline.
be getting access to the outline by your next agribusiness market linkages session. So that would be by Monday, God willing. And this will also be posted in the WhatsApp group, emailed, and also the Facebook group as well.
Caitlin, Marissa is stating that connection is not the best quality. The audio is going and coming. Is that the same for everybody?
I don't think so, no. I think it may be an issue on her end, unfortunately. Perhaps, Larissa, you may want to stop the video.
Okay. Would it be okay if I stop the video?
No, not you. I was saying she could
Narissa.
stop you. Yeah, Narissa,
Okay.
stop her video and just listen via audio. That might help.
Okay, so no other questions? Okay, so let me just give a brief overview of what we're going to be covering in the series. One of the things that we believe in is that it's a woman empowerment program, is that we want to make sure that I know we have hectic days and you have the kids and the other family members to look after, and the farm. I know you have your backyard garden and all of that to look after, but we want to make sure that you find a little time for yourself during this whole process. So we're paying a little bit of attention to you as individual initially when we start the course, the series. We're going to talk about where you are now and where you want to go. We're going to be looking at agriculture, the big picture of agriculture, but Mishka is going to touch wider on that. Agribusiness, we're going to look at markets and marketing and the linkages that are created. We are going to touch a bit, once we get the time, on your customer profile, your market size. How do we go about evaluating and deciding what our market size is? And we're gonna do a little bit on funding, but that would be covered by Telly in the financial literacy sessions that are that will follow. And we look at a bit at market dynamics. So we're going to be looking at using tools and that are fun, and videos and discussion and a bit of group work. Overall, we're going to have some fun learning. We have 2 hours basically to play with right now. So we're gonna jump right into it. Caitlin, anything else that needs to be covered before I actually start the presentation?
Not at all.
Right,
Can
good.
away.
So ladies, let's actually start the presentation now. Let's actually start to have some fun learning. And Caitlin will share her screen with us.
Yes, Linnell will be the one in control.
Okay, Linnell. Okay, Linnell. While I'm waiting on Linnell, let's chat a little bit on what we are going to do next. So what we're going to do next is basically we're going to look at us as individuals. I always say to the small business persons that I work with, and I'm seeing some of them in this program, that it cannot continue to be you alone in what you're doing. You need help. And one of the most important parts of empowering true business creation is to assess yourself, right? Yes, you're going to do the research and it's a vital part of the process, but you need to take into account your expertise, your ability, your knowledge, and basically the access to your professional assistants, right? Before you actually jump into this whole business thing. It's not an easy thing. So you need to look at yourself. What am I good at? Where would I need help? And where can I get this help? And basically what is important to me. So I have, are we still waiting on Linnell? Right, so I basically have 5 quick questions that I want to
mute your mics when joining. Thank you. Sorry, Nisha.
That's okay. Right, so I have 5 quick questions that I want you to answer. I'm gonna give you, it's a large group. So I'm basically gonna give you 10 minutes to look at the questions. I don't want you to overthink them. I want you to just allow your mind to be free and just put the first thoughts that come to your mind, put them down, and then we will move from there. At the end of that 10 minutes, I would love if I have 4 or 5 volunteers to share what they jot down on their Me That's Who Exactly assessment. So I'm still waiting on Linnell to get to that slide.
We're just trying to get to the slide. Just give us 1 second. It's taking some
problem.
time. Thanks.
Right. So
okay, here we go. I think Linnell's got it open. Can you see, Nisha?
yes, I'm seeing.
Great.
So
Thanks,
we're going
Linnell.
to slide 6, I believe.
So you want to put it into slideshow, Linnell, and then go to slide 6.
So while we are waiting on Linnell, one of the things that I want you to start to think about is basically, I am very, is it that I'm very shy, or I'm very outspoken, or I'm very quiet, or I'm very assertive, or I love to laugh. I am a very controlling person, or it could be a very creative person. I love to communicate. So while I want you to start thinking about basically who am I? So I am very, and I would say I am very careful. All right. I am very I don't socialize a lot, so I'm very unsociable. So I want you to start thinking along that lines, because that's your very first question to answer. And then it's the other slide. I guess they're loading. Right. So ladies, we're finally there. Everybody's seeing this slide. So I'm going to give you 10 minutes because the group is so large. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to look at these questions, answer them as truthful as you can. I don't want you to overthink it. Just answer the questions. And then at the end of the activity, I would love if I can get 4 or 5 volunteers or even more to share on who they are and what is important to them and all of that. So ladies, you have 10 minutes. Linnell, I don't know if you can time for me, please. I'll appreciate that. Thanks much. Any questions?
Yes, no problem.
Okay. Ladies, any questions? Alicia, yes, you are writing them down, because then if you're willing to share after, then you will have them jotted down so that you can share freely. You're welcome. Linnell Kedon is saying that she is not seeing the questions. Kedon, would that possibly be from your standpoint? In terms of your internet connection?
What we can do is we can take a snapshot of this and put it in the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll do so right now.
All right. Kedon, are you able to see them now? Kedon, are you there? Are you muted?
So it was sent in the WhatsApp group. So if you, for some reason, cannot see the presentation, you can go to WhatsApp and look at it there.
Nell, do they have probably about 4 minutes to leave?
Three more minutes from my timer, 6:40.
Right.
Yes, I just came in. Do we have to write this down?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Keaton, do we have about a minute? Or my clock is a little bit too fast?
No, 6:39, 1 more minute,
All
6:40.
right. Keaton, is that it? I think so. Yep. All right. Ladies, I think that you're 10 minutes up, and I would like 4 volunteers who are willing to share with us about who they are. Can I have 4 volunteers? I don't want to call names tonight. It's too early. So would anybody, so Vanel, I'm seeing your hand. Benis, I'm seeing, please correct me if I do not pronounce your name correctly. And Malika, I remember yesterday, Malika, did I hope I got that right? And one more. Okay, so in the meantime that we are waiting, I'll ask Vanel to share, but before she share, can she just tell us a little bit of how the exercise was and when last she did something like this? Vanel?
Hi.
Hi.
Well, the exercise showed me that I have a little bit of issues. And also the last time I did something like this was at a Zoom meeting that I had a couple of months ago with woman empowerment with CD.
Okay. All right. Okay, so take it away, Vanel. So you're
Okay,
very good at?
I'm very good at coming up with business ideas and making tea. And also I'm good with plans. So something that I really didn't want to be good at, but it's somehow I'm good at it. I have difficulty with speaking up. That is one of the reasons why I raised my hand. I'm very shy and I have a hard time with asking for help. That is one of my biggest downfalls, speaking up and asking for help when necessary. And my 3 greatest experience in business is being a part of self-made SVG for the International Women's Day, being a part of the Bank of St. Vincent calendar in 2021, and also being featured in all of the newspapers and major news entities in St. Vincent. And my main learning type is visual learning. If I see something, like I see something on YouTube and I just watch it one time, I can literally go about and then do it after. How do I target a project or personal challenge? What is special when I do something? I'm a perfectionist. Everything that I do, I want it to be perfect down to the T. So sometimes does usually be one of my biggest downfall because everything cannot be perfect. And what is important to me, family, being independent, and security. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Vanel.
Thank you.
Are you sure you're shy? You sound so eloquent. So I'm looking forward to actually hearing your voice a bit more over the next couple of days, the time that we're spending together. So,
Okay.
so at the end of the Eat With program, when we're at graduation, I hope I also see you doing something there as well. Okay. All right.
Okay,
Great.
then.
Thanks very much, Vanel. Venice, Miss Williams.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Question 1. I am good at organization. I am very meticulous. Things have to be a certain way or I don't function well. For example, if I'm in a room, all my things have to be a certain way or the dysfunction is very distracting. Question number 2. I have difficulty with financing projects in terms of if I need to go about doing something, it's hard to come up with the funds. Question 3, my greatest experience in business, have a bit of sales, a little customer service. My main learning type is visual. I'm very good at visual stuff and I'm very hands-on. What's important to me? I think I have one question ahead of one. Next question was supposed to be, how do I tackle projects? I like to do everything myself because I find when I let other people do things, they don't do it the way I want it done. So I like to do things myself and I like to do it the right way the first time. What is important to me is being self-reliant, being able to take care of myself and my family. And friendships are very important to me and family is very important to me. Thank you.
Great. So Venice, before you run off very quickly, how was the exercise? Is it something that you do often or?
No, this is my first. I mean, they're very simple questions, but you gotta dig deep. So yeah.
Okay. All right. So well, yeah. I hope that you continue, you put it in your journal and you ever so often you can go back and see if you probably make some changes over time. So yes, continue to look at it, continue to revisit it as life progressed with you and circumstances changed. Okay.
Will do.
Great. So what about Malika now?
Good night, everyone. Okay, so the first question, I am 3 personality traits. I am very determined, I am very kind, and I consider myself to be very powerful. The second one, I am good at being a mommy. I am good at planning and organizing. I have difficulty with managing my time. That is my biggest challenge. I am also not good at asking for help. I set out to do everything basically on my own the first time.
Couple seconds. Are you hearing me? I lost you for a couple seconds a while ago.
Yes,
I'm not
I
sure
am
if
here.
it was your internet or mine, but I didn't hear the first three answers. So I don't know if you want to quickly run them back for me,
Okay,
please.
let me go really quick. Okay, so the first question, I am very determined, kind, and powerful. The second one, I am good at. I am good at being a mom, planning and organizing. I have difficulty with managing my time and also asking for help as I set out to do everything by myself the first time around. My 3 great experiences in business, that would be making money, of course, and customer satisfaction. That makes me feel really good when my customers are satisfied. My main learning type is hands-on, practical. I learn best by seeing exactly what things are. How do I tackle a project, personal challenges? I write everything down. So I start by making a list of, what the problem is, how I got myself there, how the problem arise. And I start, figuring out, listing solutions. How do I go from there? What is important to me? Family, freedom, and peace. That's it.
All right, so I lost you a couple. I'm not sure if it's your internet or if it's mine. I don't know. Are you everybody hearing me clear now? Okay, all right. So Malika, how was this exercise for you? Is it something that you do, often? Would it be something that you would like to continue to do? Do you see importance to you going forward?
The exercise was it was a very good exercise. I have done several of these in the past couple months in terms of my own personal development and doing different things with regards to personal development. So I've come across, some of these questions. Yeah, that's it. That's the only question.
Okay, yes, because you're breaking up as well. So
maybe it's my internet or something.
I know we have been having internet, so I'm praying that it holds tonight.
Yeah.
Issues, so I'm praying that it holds tonight for all of us. Okay, thank you very much, Malika.
You're welcome.
Janelle. Hi, Janelle.
Janelle.
Oh, sorry.
It happens. Good night, everybody. The first question, I'm very talkative, which would be evident. I'm also very observant, and I'm also very generous. The second question, I'm good at listening. I'm very good at connecting, and I'm also very good at inspiring. The third question, what do I have difficulty with? As though I'm good at listening, I also have challenges to listen. It's kind of an oxymoron there. I have a challenge at forgiving myself, and slowing down is my another challenge. I'm like a mullet, million things one time. My 3 greatest experience in business, I would say when I successfully meet a client's need. That for me is, a great feeling. Also when I see something that was an idea becomes a reality. And the third is when people find value in my service. When not persons who are not just clients, but persons who can look at what I do and see value there in both service and product. My main learning type, I don't know what that's called, but I look at videos a lot, and once I see it and I hear it, That works for me.
Okay, just
Uh,
visual. Mhm.
How do I tackle a project or a personal challenge? I usually break it down into bite-sized pieces and I tackle it from the bite side. What is special about why I do that? It makes it easier to consume. It makes what was once a huge problem now something very simple, and it makes it more everyday, easy, simple task. What is important to me? Family is important to me. A peace of mind is important to me, and relaxation is very important to me. That's
All
it.
right. Thank you, Jen. And this was a great experience for you. It's something that you do all the time?
Talking is what I do all the time.
Right, great. No problem. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. All right, so I see that Zelian, thank you very much, ladies. I'm not sure. Zelian, is it that you want to share, or do you have something else that you want to say?
Good night, everyone. I want to share.
You want to share? I'm
Yes.
not hearing you.
Yes, please. Are you hearing me?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
Okay. I am very good at no, my personality trait is I am respectful, generous, and open-minded. I am good at multitasking, singing, planning, but not organizing. I am not good at organizing. I can plan from now till tomorrow, and to organize it, it's a challenge.
Zelian, I'm not hearing you. I'm not sure if you are hearing me.
I am hearing you clearly.
Okay, but you're breaking up. I'm not getting you clear. But you can go ahead and share.
Okay. So I have difficulty with organizing and not being an overthinker. I am a very overthinker, yes. And I have difficulty with being patient. My 3 experiences in business is
I am not.
Is it my internet or is it yours?
I'm not sure, but what we can probably do is that you can share it in the chat and we will all see it. You can share it in the chat and we'll all see it.
Okay.
All right.
I think it's Nisha. Nisha, I think it's your connection because I'm hearing you clearly and I'm hearing everybody else clearly.
Oh, so it's probably my connection.
It's probably because I was hearing the others clearly.
Okay. All right. Okay, sorry, ladies. I really hope that it holds because I've been having some issues with internet, and I think Flo can't help because I've been communicating with them as well. So I had one other person. So Zelian, did you get a chance to complete? Because I didn't hear it. So if you just share it in the chat.
Okay, I'll share it in the chat.
Okay. Zulika, I saw her hand up.
Yes, I did have my hand up.
Okay, so do you want to share or just something else you want to say?
Yes, I don't mind sharing, it's fine.
No.
But I really do think the connection is yours because I'm hearing everybody else clearly. And I think most persons are hearing me clearly as well.
I am so sorry about that. So sorry. Okay, is it a little better now?
Yes.
I've disconnected all my Wi-Fi issues around me, so I just have one running, so I don't know what's happening. Okay.
We've always been hearing you.
Okay. All right. Okay, so Zelian, you're finished, and Zulika, do you still want to share?
Yes, I can share a few of it.
Okay, quickly.
Okay. So I think I'm very good at My personality traits, I think that I'm very ambitious, innovative, and courageous, because in business you have to take risk. I'm good at marketing, I'm good at planning, and I'm good at seeing something through. What I have difficulty is being able to do financials. I don't know, accounting is my weakness. I also have some problems with time management. My greatest experience in business, like Janine said, you know, having that customer service and having persons pleased with what you're offering, your service and your product. My learning type is I do a lot of writing. In terms of tackling personal challenges or projects, I like to evaluate them, make sure that I can do them on my own. What is important to me? Of course, family.
Thank you very much, Zalik. Family. All right, great. Anybody else want to say something, or we can move on? All right, ladies. I hope that experience was actually a really good one, and one that you can use going forward. You know, in life when circumstances change, you just need to sit back a little bit and look at yourself and your what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses.
Can I share?
Basically, your personality can change, and also your business by extension, right? Probably the way you deal with customers and all of that. Okay, can you just identify yourself to me so that I know who I'm speaking to, so that I could allow you to share?
No, I've been psyching myself up to share, so I would like to. It's Jasmine.
So that's Zelian?
No.
Okay, all right, go right ahead, Jasmine. No problem,
Yes.
Go right ahead. 1 minute before you start, Jasmine, Zelian, can you take down your hand, your raised hand, or if you still have something else to say, then we will take it after Jasmine. Okay, Jasmine, you can go ahead.
Okay, well, I told myself that I would go out of my comfort zone and try and share as much as possible, because I usually don't. So I've been psyching myself up, so I want to get it out. Okay. I am very patient, but with that comes with me being an extremely introverted person. I'm a teacher, so my patience comes in with having to deal with my students. I'm good at motivating myself, and for some reason I can function in chaos. I have difficulty with procrastination. I tend to leave things for the last minute, but I get them done, so maybe that's why. I do not have a business in agriculture. My greatest experience would be finishing my studies in Cuba, from my profession, getting my degree and so forth, which has to do with teaching. My main learning type is I learn by doing. Once I can do something, then it sticks in my head. I prefer to work alone. I prefer to do projects on my own. I think that comes with the introverted part.
Good.
And what is important to me is peace of mind, my independence, and my family. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you very much. Same here, my dear. Same here, Angie. I'm having issues with my internet as well. So I'm just praying it holds for the next hour or so. All right, ladies. So we gotta move on because I'm seeing our time is going. We have about an hour or so to spend together, and we have a couple of things that we need to pay some attention to. So thank you very much for participating in that activity. I hope you continue to use it as you go forward, and that you can bring some of the stuff that you know about yourself into your businesses or even your professional life going forward. Okay, Linnell, the next slide is we're going to look at where we are in terms of our thoughts. Yesterday, I got a mouthful from you. So I know a lot of you are professional ladies. You also are, some of you have been doing backyard gardening for a while. Some of you know venturing into it. And some of you are at the idea stage. I hope by the end of the 8-week experience that we move everybody up to actually taking these backyard gardening that we're doing and actually put some sort of commercial thought to what we are doing, even if it's small scale. The whole idea is to actually improve our life, what to provide for ourselves and our families in a much more better way than we are probably doing it now. So I want you to take a little time. We're not going to do it now because we are working with some time. You will get the presentation, so you can always go back where we are now. So we did a little looking at us in terms of assessing us, our personalities, but I want you to also look at your thoughts, where you are now and where you want to be, and keep those thoughts that at the end, in terms of the graduation, you can actually share on where during the whole facilitation for the 8-week program, you probably got help moving from where you are now to where you want to be in the future. All right. Then next slide. I think now we're going to be looking at why we're here, marketing and market linkages, not marketing process straight, but market linkages and agribusiness. So I put some of my thoughts here, and I would love to hear some of your thoughts on what I have here. I have agriculture is not a way of life. Agriculture is a business. It creates wealth. You know, it promotes development and improves people's lives. This is some of my thoughts. Do you have different thoughts that you would like to share? Would anybody like to share? What are you doing? All right, Rosette. Good night, Rosette.
Good night, Nisha. Good night, everyone. I use my time in the garden, apart from loving what I do, as a form of exercise and release of stress.
And I know what you're saying, Rosette. I do that as well. So you see agriculture as the means where you actually get to relax. So it works. It works on reducing our, so it brings down your pressure, as we say. It brings down your blood pressure. You get to smile, you get to communicate with the plants, because plants love to actually hear you speaking to them. Janine.
Oi.
I don't know.
I'm here. I'm here.
All right, Janine. Right. So tell me,
that's a good
are you
question.
agreeing?
Which one of us
are you disagreeing?
Is it
Janine?
Well, I'm seeing.
I assume it's me,
Okay,
but
so
I'm not sure.
I'm seeing Janine. Give me
okay, so that's me. That's Janine. Yes, my hand was up. It's also
so good. So Janine.
It also promotes health, because you know you're planting your own little garden, you're planting your fruits, your vegetables and stuff like that, and you know what you're using to grow them, whether it be organic or whatever. Remember, when we buy from others, we don't know exactly how they are treating or what they are doing to for their plants to grow and stuff like that. So it's also a good source of health. It promotes health.
I think we lost Nisha.
Hi, Nisha. I'm seeing her, but Nisha, you are on mute if you are speaking. I'm hoping we haven't lost her. Colleagues, as you know, this is just the virtual space at times. Just give us a second.
She's saying that her internet dropped in the chat.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
Yes, we're hearing.
Okay, sorry about that, ladies. My internet just dropped. So Janine, can you just go over briefly what you were saying? I really didn't hear you.
Okay, I was saying that agriculture also improves and promotes health. You know, when you're planting your own, whether it's fruit or vegetables or provision, you know how you care for them, you know how you take care of them. Whereas if you buy from others, you don't know exactly what it is you're getting, what it is you're putting into your body. Whereas when you do it, you know exactly how you care and what you're putting in your body because you're the one that is planting. So it promotes health.
Ladies, can I make a suggestion? Janine, can you give me 1 minute? Okay. Keatlin, are you hearing me?
Yes, I can, Nisha.
I was wondering if it's okay with the ladies for me to take off my video, if that would help.
I think that should help at this
Just for
point.
tonight.
Yeah, I think that should help at this point. Most of us have our videos off anyway.
Right, so let me, okay, so let me just take, okay, I know that when you're doing presentation, you know,
All right, ladies, sorry again about this. Nisha seems to be experiencing some type of technical issues. In the meantime, there was someone speaking and presenting. Could you go ahead while we try to get Nisha back? The last person who was speaking, you can go ahead. Ladies, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yes. Who was the last person that was presenting?
yes, sir. Ladies, forgive me, but my Wi-Fi just fell out. Okay.
All right, Nisha, are you okay now?
Well, I'm hoping that I'm okay. And don't do me that again. So I did not hear, so I Roxanne and Rodine and Inca.
All right, Nisha, are we waiting for someone to speak?
Yeah.
All right, ladies. So I see while Nisha is kind of getting herself collected, Roxanne, Rodine's hands up. Roxanne, you can go ahead.
Right.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Good night,
I want to say that agriculture promotes innovation because you know you develop your skills. So the things that you used to do probably 10 years ago, the way how you practice your planting, you cannot use it the same way. You have to think, we do a lot of research and find innovative ways to be very productive in the land, because as you know, there's a lot of challenges that may come. So I will say it creates, once you apply a lot of innovation, it will create that type of excitement that you really need as a farmer.
Thank you so much for sharing, Roxanne. Nisha, are you with us?
Glenn, I am trying to change location to see if it would help. So just
okay,
give me a
in the
little
meantime,
second.
I'll have Inka and Rodine just present. So Inka,
Yes,
you can go ahead.
I'm just trying to change location.
All right.
To see if it would help.
So I'm thinking in terms of spending, when you grow your own food, that's one that's some money that you can save. You know, you have your own food in your background, you have your own vegetables, and here in St. Vincent, we all know how vegetables are expensive. So I would say agriculture is the way of life, is the way of going right now. Because if you plant your stuff, you don't have to buy. Thank you.
Thank you, Inka. Very true. Next, we will have Rodine. You can go ahead.
Okay, good night. I would just like to add that I know it states here that agriculture is not a way of life, but I would like to argue that it is a way of life. Agriculture provides food, and it is also a business that would allow us to have money, right? So that we can take care of other things. So I would say that it is a way of life. So that is what I would like to add.
Thank you, Rodine.
Ladies, are you hearing me now?
Yes, we can hear you, Nisha.
You would not believe where I had to end up to go. Okay. All right.
I hope someone's comfortable.
Okay. So at least I hope that it holds where I am. I moved a little bit closer to the modem itself. So let's see how it goes. Right. So one more, Annie.
Nisha, just one more before Annie. We have some in the chat as well. And definitely a lot of people are saying it's not just a way of life, it is life, the essence of life itself. Maybe we can say agriculture is not just a way of life, and so on. So there's a few persons in the chat. You can go ahead to Annie.
Okay, Annie. So I'm reading. Okay, Annie, you can go ahead. I'm listening.
Hi, good night, everyone. Hope you're hearing me. I'll say agriculture is life, because as I think about it, everything you get off a supermarket shelf is based from agriculture, whether it be crop or meat or whatever it is. And a lot of people don't think that when they go in a supermarket and pick up something off the shelf that it goes back to a farm somewhere, and it's really about agriculture.
All right. Okay, anybody else would like to share? Okay, so thank you very much, ladies. And again, I apologize for the connection. But I put that there because I wanted to provoke some thought in terms of preparation for going forward. Agriculture is not just a way of life. It's basically our very, very existence. It impacts every single aspect of what we do, how we live, our economy, how we relax in terms of leisure, in terms of travel. You travel on a plane, you get a meal, you go to a hotel. Food is a big part of it, and things like that. So outside of it being, yes, you know, we got to put our hands in the dirt and things like that, agriculture is more than just a way of life. It's our very existence. Agriculture is also business. Listen to me, people. What you are doing in your backyard, if you to look and put a cost to you, as Rosette said, where she get to release some stress. If Rosette look at the tomatoes that she's getting and she actually decide to sell some, or she actually put some work in it and do some nice packaging and chop them and add some value to what she is doing, she would be surprised as to what you get in terms of the reward from participating in agriculture, in the activities that we see our agriculture base. It creates wealth. And that's very, very important at the end of the day. Yes, we want to make money, but we want a better life. And it would allow us to actually have that better life by creating wealth for us. And it promotes development and improve people's lives. I've seen it happening. Even myself, agriculture has taken me places that I did not expect to go. And it continued to do that. It has allowed me to meet so much different people from different walks of life, sharing their experiences, understanding where they're coming from, where they want to go. Agriculture opens your eyes to a lot of things, ladies. So I hope that at the end of this program, you embrace the whole concept and see it not just as a way of life, but your very, very existence. All right. So thank you for sharing your thoughts on this particular slide. I hope that you continue to look at it in this way as we go forward. So Linnell, next slide.
Okay, just hold on 1 second.
Sure. Right. So what is agriculture? Agriculture is often said to include all of the services and activities involved in producing plants and animals and in getting them to the consumer. So this includes agribusiness as well as production agriculture or farming. So basically is those services or activities that paying attention to plants and animals and adding value to plants and animals so that consumers get
Hi, everyone. I'm not sure. Nisha, can you hear us? We may have lost Nisha again. Oh boy, seems like we're having a lot of internet issues today. Okay, so we will go through this slide. Agriculture is often said to include all of the services and activities involved in producing plants and animals and their products and in getting them to the consumer. This includes agribusiness as well as production agriculture or farming. Linnell, can you move to the next slide? Thank you. What is agribusiness? Grow what you can sell. Don't try to sell what you have grown. Agriculture has evolved into agribusiness and has become a vast and complex system that reaches far beyond the farm to include all those who are involved in bringing food and fiber to consumers. Agribusiness includes not only those that farm the land, but also the people and firms that provide the input, for example, seed, chemicals, credit, etc. Process the output, for example, milk, grain, meat, manufacture the products, for example, ice cream, bread, breakfast, cereals, and transport, and sell the food products to consumers, for example, restaurants, supermarkets. Linnell, next slide, please. All right. Before we go into the agribusiness activities and we try to get Nisha back on board, I just wanted to hear from the group, particularly those who have had backyard gardens and so on. Have you ever looked at agriculture as a business? And if so, in what aspect? So if we could just get a raise, some hands raised. Have you ever looked at agriculture as a business? And if so, in what aspect? Can we just hear from some of you?
Ladies, Caitlin, are you hearing me?
Yes, Nisha, I am. I was asking.
What I'm trying to do is basically right now is to switch computers to see if that is probably the issue. And so just give me a little, just give me about a minute. Let me see if that will work.
Okay, well, in the meantime, I am taking them through the slides just to save on time. So we have two persons with their hands raised, Annette and then Venice. Annette, you can go ahead.
You can hear me now? Someone is yes?
Yes, we can hear you, Annette.
Question is, have you ever looked at your backyard garden as a business? I could say yes. I am even using my porch as a garden. My daughter normally busts lime seed and avocado seeds, and she do them right in her porch. You know, start them on the counter, put them on the porch. And last year or late the year before, she had sold a total of a seed that amounted to $200 and something in one go. Lime plants and avocado plants. So yes, I looked at it already. I realized you don't have to have a big space. You just need a little space, and you know how to utilize that space. So yes, I looked at my backyard and my porch as a means of income.
Absolutely, that's what I like to hear. And congratulations to you and your daughter.
Yeah.
Next, we will go to Roxanne and then Adiola.
Yes, I see agriculture as a business. I do not really do much farming, but I use produce to sell my baked goods. I do have a home bakery and I have a small ice cream shop. So I sell on the weekends potato pudding, banana bread, coconut tart, slice, and those sort of things. And so I see agriculture as a business because I have to use agricultural produce in whatever I do. Just mean I take it to the next stage.
Absolutely, agro-processing. You're adding value.
And I really think that we do not do enough agro-processing in St. Vincent. And it's something I would like to get into more, especially mangoes. I am from Stubbs and we grow a lot of mango. And when you pass through Stubbs in the mango season, you see all these mangoes on the ground. And
listen, it's not only in St. Vincent.
I also look at us bringing in so much red mango from Trinidad. And those sell so well here, but I don't know of anyone locally who does it as well as the Trinidadians. So I'm really looking into somebody, even myself, getting some training into doing those red mango, like how it is done from Trinidad, really and truly.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out for you as well, Roxanne. Thank you. Next, we have Adiola.
Caitlin, are you hearing me now?
Yes, we can hear you, Nisha. I'll just give a chance. I had Adiola and Venice who were going to describe to me if they ever saw agriculture as a business, and if so, in what aspect. So just the two of them, and then you can take it away. Adiola, you can go ahead.
Hi, good night. Everybody hearing me?
Loud and clear.
Okay then. I mainly see agriculture as a side hustle for me, since I already working somewhere else. So I will just use my agriculture garden as a extra income.
Okay. And there's nothing wrong with seeing it as supplemental income at all. From what I've noticed, the majority of you in this group and also in the last cohorts that we have had kind of use agriculture as a supplemental income. Some people turn into full agriculture entrepreneurs, but still, you're still a part of the sector. So thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
And we will just end with Venice, and then Nisha, you'll take it away. Venice, you can go ahead.
Sure, thanks.
Hi.
Hi, Venice. Did we lose you? Can you hear us?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
Okay.
I look at agriculture, my garden, as a business, but I didn't start out with the intention of it as a business. I started out, I'm interested in organic produce, organic farming and organic produce. And I started out, and I find what happened, you get so much. Let's say you plant okra or you plant eggplants or whatever, tomatoes, you get so much produce, you cannot utilize it and give it away. Because when I just started, that's what I was doing. I would give my neighbors, I would give my friends. And then I was like, wait a minute, I could get some income from this. And there was one point where I planted a lot of okras, and at the time, nobody else had. And I made over $600 from my okras. And this is just a backyard, like a little area. So I said to myself, wow, if I can make that kind of money off of okra, I'm gonna go into other things. So I do see it as a source of income, but that was not my intention going into it. I went in with the intention of producing stuff for myself and for my family, and knowing what went into what type of fertilizers I use, what type of pesticide I use on it. I personally don't believe in using the commercial pesticide. I believe in using the local stuff to spray your plants, the soap water, that kind of stuff. And that was my intention. And now it has turned into a business where I make money off of my little garden. And I also like the fact that, you know, we as backyard gardeners or farmers, we kind of downplay ourselves. Oh, I just planted a little thing in my backyard. But in reality, we're actual businesswomen. It's good to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Venice. Thank you for sharing. And yes, you would be surprised how much money you can make from agriculture if you just do it the right way. And it's not about working harder, but about working smarter. Venice, so with that being said, Nisha, you can take it away. Can you hear us?
All right. Thank you. I'm hearing you. I'm hoping that you're hearing me. Again, my apologies. I changed computer, so I hope that it holds. But the discussion very interesting, ladies, especially Venice, who is doing natural farming. It's a little bit difficult to be saying organic farming in St. Vincent, but you're doing natural farming, and I fully embrace that. I'm not an advocate of one type of way or choosing to do agriculture the normal way.
So innovation, I welcome innovation, especially when it applies to agriculture and agribusiness. And ladies, even if you're doing backyard gardening and you're just doing it and probably feeding your family, the thoughts, the different activities and the things that you're doing falls clearly under agribusiness activities at any point, even if it's just the research where I hear you guys saying a lot about the University of YouTube, where you spend some time and you do research on how to plant, how to get your tomato trees to probably produce more, how you can get larger heads in your cabbage, how you can, you know, what you bring in terms of your innovative activities towards probably a ginger production or your potato production. All that, whether you're actually selling yes or no, falls under the agribusiness activities. At the end of the day, if you decide to market it, then we are thinking now outside just agriculture as pleasure, but no agriculture as business. So let me just quickly run through, I know we are looking at time, quickly run through the agribusiness activities and some of the things that it entails. First and foremost, our policymakers and the programs that the government have in place, whether through the Ministry of Agriculture, whether through customs, whether through concessions for whether you're bringing in equipment in terms of agro-processing, whether you're looking to add some value in terms of your seeds, all that, the policies that are in place to drive business in terms of agriculture, all part of agribusiness activities. We cannot leave out our policymakers when we are thinking agriculture. They are very, very important in how our agriculture system operates. And we could see that in St. Vincent and Grenadines in terms of our ministry and how it operates and how our agriculture system is structured. Then, of course, research and extension programs. What is happening? What are the new things? What are the new varieties on the market? How is our weather system operating and how it's going to impact us, both not only those that are doing backyard gardening, but also those who are doing agriculture at a commercial level. What is happening now? Our dry season is coming. We just battled Sofre. How did that impact us? And in terms of going forward, how are we going to take the lessons learned and what the researchers are saying to us in terms of actually moving our businesses forward? So we need to pay some attention to research, you know, what's going on in extension, and see how we can take it and put it into our business activities. Even if we are just doing backyard gardening, because I showed last night, I remember hearing one of you guys saying that, you know, you speak to your plants and it hurts you when you get up and you see your tomato tree dying and you're wondering what is happening. And even if you're watering it and you're giving it all, but then you have to also remember that there are other things playing, you know, probably there's an increase in pests. You have a probably pest increase, or it could probably, we just had volcano ash, and the ash that happened when the volcano erupted 40 years ago to the one that is now, I'm being told by my parents, it's a complete different ash. We now have concrete, well before we had, you know, this fine dust that actually added some value to our soil. So I'm hoping that the years, probably we're not seeing it now, because as a farmer, I'm not really seeing it now. Your experience is probably a bit different than mine. You're probably already reaping some of the benefits of that ash that we got in April last year. You're probably seeing some of the benefits, but I'm still waiting to see some of those. So I hope next time we meet and we chat, I could tell you that yes, I'm seeing the benefits. Then we need to pay some attention to our farm supplies inputs. We know in St. Vincent we're very limited where that is concerned. We have a monopoly in terms of who provides us with farm supplies and inputs. We have probably about 3 vendors, and that puts us in certain positions in terms of the variety that we get in terms of seeds, because right now I'm a cabbage producer. That's one of my main crops in terms of farming, and I'm having difficulty finding a variety of cabbage right now that I could probably plant to address the issues that the dry season is going to bring me. And so that in itself creates its own issues in terms of our agribusiness activities and where business lies agriculture in St. Vincent. Then agriculture production, the production itself. We have some issues, and I hope that as business persons, we can now think outside the box and start to think about production scheduling, even if we're doing backyard gardening. I remember when I used to do lettuce in small scale, that was a big thing for me. I pay attention. So lettuce comes now probably 3 to 6 weeks, and what that means in terms of meeting my market. How much do I need to put in? You know, when do I plant what? How do I plant it? So the whole idea of the production activities, I think, yes, we have been doing a lot of that in St. Vincent, but I still believe that we need to pay some attention to the actual scheduling. And even if you are doing agro-processing, it's very important for you as agro-processors, as those that add value to our raw products, that you pay attention to what is happening in terms of production in the country, because it affects what you do as a processor. And I hope that some of the processors that are here share their experience in terms of how production affects their processing ability or their processing capacity to meet their markets. So going forward, you know, you have that opportunity to share. And then we come to processing. So we are adding value now to our production system. What this means in terms of business. So you're adding value, you are utilizing raw material, and are you just giving it away? Are you keeping it at home? Or are you thinking about making it into a successful business? And that is what we're going to be discussing. And lastly, agribusiness activities involves marketing. In the processing and in the agriculture production, it's important to look at two things. And you know, they would be touched on basically in the coming weeks: nutrition and food safety. And I'm sure Theo is here with us. So Theo would touch on food safety, both in production and in processing. And I think it's important for you to think about it both in production, processing, and by extension, marketing. It gives you that added push. If you can say, here what? In producing and in processing, I paid attention to a lot of standards, whether it's GMP, GAP, probably HACCPs. You know, you included it in your whole process, the activity. It gives you that added, that extra push when you're doing marketing, and it could actually bring you a lot of money, a lot of money, if you pay attention to food processing and standards and also nutrition. And I know last night we have a couple chefs, so I hope they are paying attention in terms of in preparing food. You know, you pay attention to nutrition, and also you engage those producers that pay attention also to nutrition and food safety. All right, ladies. Any question here on this slide that you would like clear up on that you did not understand? No? Okay. Next slide, Keaton,
Linel? So we have been chatting a bit, and what I would like to share with you is the importance of agriculture from a market standpoint. And I know a lot of us doing it for backyard, but when we are talking business, we are in business to make money. Even if you are a non-profit organization, at the end of the day, that organization also needs money to function, to execute some of the plans that they have in place. So when we think agriculture, I want you to start to think market, what the market is saying to you. That's how you're going to actually look at agriculture going forward, and make sure that it's a business and we're in business to make money. So it's profit oriented. All right. And we want to make the money so that here what? We're creating wealth at the end of the day. Not just making money. You're creating wealth so that you can better yourself, you can better your family, you can better your community, and by extension, the economy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is what I want at the end of the day, when we complete this agribusiness session, that you start looking at your backyard gardens. For example, what is the market saying to you? Are there a lot of carrots on the market? Do we really need more carrots? No. Where do I sell my carrots? Who buys carrots? Why do we buy it? Those are the things that I want you to, going forward, start thinking about. All right, good. So next slide. All right, so I have a little slide here that I want us to have some discussion on. I'm actually going to give you 2 minutes. If you can answer simple multiple choice. What is marketing? When you hear marketing, what it means to you. I give you a choice of A, convincing people to buy things that they do not really need at high prices. All activities and services involved in moving a product from the point of production to the point of consumption, finding out male and female customer needs and satisfying these needs at a profit, and making people buy things so that they do not look poor or feel left out. Can you just look at this for a minute, and then can you share your answers? And let's have a discussion. So ladies, do you understand what I'm asking in terms of just select one of the options, or two or three, or all of them? And then we have a discussion, then we'll have a discussion in terms of what's your opinion about what is marketing?
Understood.
Okay, would anybody like to share what their answer, what did they choose in terms of the options, or if they see it different? So Jalori says B. All right.
Yeah. It's B. Was I supposed to raise my hand?
Sorry. That's okay.
Okay.
So Azuba says it's B.
I would say B as well. It's Andrea.
So why it's not C?
I was just about to say C.
I think I think C would form part of the activities that are involved in getting the product from the point of production to consumption. It is part of it, but in entirety, I think the answer is B, because there are a lot of things that are entailed in that particular process, and all of it is marketing.
I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think that marketing involves moving a product. That's my takeaway. Moving a product. Moving a product could be like, could fall under like distribution or something like that.
I don't think the word moving in this case means physically moving it in a transportation from point A to point B. But in my opinion, in my interpretation, moving the product means let's say, let me use an example, ginger, having the product in the ground and then digging it out, and then the packaging the product, what I use or how I package the product, where I place the product to be advertised or for customers to see, my pricing on the product and so forth. So I think all of that will be moving from having the product, the ginger in the ground, to actually having persons eventually buying and consuming the product. I don't know if I'm right.
Yeah, movement is also part of displaying the product. Like you have to bring some products where people can see it.
Okay.
Right. Great. Annie chose A, B, and C. Annie, can you tell us why you chose A, B, and C?
I chose A because I think in marketing, you're trying to get people to buy the product that you're selling, and it takes some convincing. And well, B, all the activities that involve in getting the product to the point of consumption, which will include convincing people to buy the product, and finding out male and female customer needs. And so it's just like, you have to know the need of the people then that you gonna sell your product for, and to see, because it's like, if you don't have a need, then they won't need your product. So you have to understand if there's a need for it. That's my take.
Thank you, Annie. Basically, ladies, so what is marketing, and select what applies. So B says it's all the activities and services involved in moving a product from the point of production to the point of consumption. When we looked at agribusiness, the definition for agribusiness, it basically involves agriculture. Yes, so it involves production, it involves processing, but it also involves those activities in actually getting your product to the customer. So the distribution, the transportation, the funding, the different setting up of the warehouses and things like that. So it covers all those activities where you have your product and you actually get it to the hands, to the person that's going to either buy it, which is the customer, or the consumer who's going to use it at the end of the day. C is also very important, because here now is where you're looking at your customer profile. So whether your customers are male and female, they all have needs, and you're going to satisfy these needs as a profit. So basically, marketing involves very much activities in B, in this particular case, and the activities in C. All right. Now, yes, we want to convince people to buy things, but not necessarily really at high prices every time. All right. And making people buy things so that they do not look or feel, they do not look poor or feel left out. That's not one of the main reasons that we are spending money to market, or we are investing in money to market. So thank you, ladies, for sharing your opinion on that. And then the other one, put the following activities in the best sequence. Can you take a minute and do that? Roxanne did. Roxanne did, and Annette did. C, B, A, D, and E. All right. Anybody else want to share in terms of how they would put these activities in order? Annie, I'm seeing your hand.
C, B, A, D, E.
So C, B, A, D, and E.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
I said C, D, B, A, and E.
I didn't hear that. Sorry.
C, D, B, E.
Okay. Interesting. And Crystal said C, B, A, D, and E. I think Lanik is also saying that as well. Ingrid is also saying that. So ladies, let's look at it. Let's look at it. So if we're looking at market-oriented agriculture or market-oriented agribusiness, the first thing we will want to know is exactly what the market is saying to us, right? What is it our customers want? What is on the market? What they need? What is important to them? What is going to make them happy? And at the end of the day, what are they going to pay for? Right? So in agribusiness, we say, grow what you can sell. Don't try to sell what you have grown. All right? So we will look at C. All right? So we're going to decide what crop to grow based on the information that our market, on the information that the market is saying to us, right? Then we go to crop, or do we find a buyer? We go to crop, we identify a buyer, and then we sell the crop. So that's the order in how it should, in this particular case, how it would work. All right, Azuba says D. All right, good. And the last topic for discussion, which approach would you take? So Azuba is saying, grow the crop you usually grow, then try to find a buyer. Roxanne is asking to repeat the order. So it's C, B, A, D, and E. Yep. So C, D, B, A, and E. That's the order. Did you get that? So that's the correct order. C, D, B, A, and E. Yeah. Okay, so which approach would you take? Okay, good. So option A, grow the crops you usually grow, then try to find a buyer. Option B, find a new crop, grow it, and then look for a buyer. Option C, find out what product customers want, then grow it. So option C, consensus? We're going to find what our customers want, and then we're going to produce.
Agreed.
All right, ladies. Great. So, did everybody get the correct order? It's important because we're going to go forward now and look at market linkages. So Annie, your hand is up.
Can you repeat the order one more time for me, please?
Sure. So it would be find out what your customers want to buy. Then you're going to find a buyer. Then you're going to grow the crop. No, sorry. Then you decide what crop to grow. Then you grow the crop. Then you sell the crop. So that would be C, D, B, A, and E. Okay, I would, no problem. C, D. Okay. I cannot see the whole slide. Inka, did you not see the last part that asks which approach would you take?
You're only seeing the question and answer selection A, not seeing the rest of the question, Anisha.
Oh, I'm seeing it, so I don't know. Okay, so well, the options, Inka, the options are grow the crops you usually grow, then find a buyer, find a new crop, grow it, and then look for a buyer, and find out, and C is find out what product your customers want, then grow it. So you will choose. Okay? Lanik says A. Lanik, why would you say A? What's the thought span behind A?
Hi, good night, everyone. Because I am not going to grow a crop that I'm not used to growing, because I might end up spending my money to buy seeds and then they might die. So I'm gonna grow my crop that I'm accustomed to, and then I look for a buyer.
Okay, all right. Anybody else share Lanik's view? Anybody disagrees with Lanik's view?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I have a question with the order. Why won't you use C, D, B, A, and E? For instance, when I wanted to start farming, what I did, I surveyed the market, right? So I look at what people is buying. For example, right now things are hard, and most people would not buy clothes versus food. So I identified that people wanted food, right? I decided what crops would grow. Basically, how I decided that is like, I'm looking at the turnover of the crops, where there's a short crop versus a long crop. So that would be C. I did it C, D, right? Then I did B. I decided what to grow. No, B, then A. So it would be C, B, A. Then for me, D. I identified a buyer because I also sell stuff wholesale. So that way I look at certain supermarkets who would take my stuff. And then E. There are others, some things that I don't sell wholesale, or if I have leftover, I would sell retail. That was my thought process.
Okay. Okay, so I have a question, right?
Yes.
So let's say, for example, we are growing ginger.
That's a long crop.
Right? Okay, let me use one of my crops. That's short. Okay.
Right.
So let's say cabbage or cucumbers, right? So we decide that we are going to grow cucumbers. So we went through this day, we did the market research, market saying to us that, hey, cucumbers are the thing of the day, right? That's what people want. We get the variety, everything. So we're ready. Okay, great.
Right.
Then you say you're going to do B, you're going to grow the crop, right? So you did C, and now you're going to B, you're going to grow the crop. And then after, B, you decided what crop, and then A, you're going to grow the crop. Am I going right with you so far?
Yes.
Then, so we have the crop. We have the crop, right? But we have not identified a buyer. We have the crop in the ground. It's ready to come out, but we don't have a buyer. No, that's what we do now. It's the trend. It's what we do. It's the normal. But we're thinking business, and we're thinking business development, and we're thinking agribusiness, and the whole idea about this thing is that you're going to use the information from what you get from your market to actually do better than what you're doing now. You're going to formalize what you're doing. You're not going to do it haphazard. So let me tell you what I normally do. So when I started farming, I did my research based also not only on what the market is saying, but based, and I still do it, based on where I am actually farming. I learned some lessons, right? And so I suffered, but I also learned some valuable information. So I did not only do it based on what the market is saying, I also based it on my topography or my farming area per se. Okay?
Okay.
That influenced a lot of things where I am farming. So I can't do certain things that some persons in the other areas of St. Vincent will do. So I cannot do mechanization. Some persons might be able, like in the Georgetown area, and so where it's flat, they can get a tractor to come in and they can do their thing, right? But for me, I can't do that. So that influenced what crop I chose, right? The other thing I did after all those things was to go and actually have chat with some of the buyers, because I wanted to know how they wanted this crop, whether they want it small, whether they want, like for example, cabbage. Over the Christmas season, I learned a very valuable lesson that here what, based on the market that I am going into, I have to produce large heads of cabbage, and for some I have to produce medium size, and for some I have to produce small size, right? Now, those things are decisions that I have to make as a producer, and they all have implications for cost and marketing implications as well. So I needed to know what my buyers wanted, because sometimes I'm not going, depends on the market that I am playing in, and that's what we're coming to next, right? That's what we're going to discuss next. Based on the market linkage that we have created, how we produce is very important. And I'm glad that you actually bring this question up now. It would feed our discussion going forward. After that, I decided the crop that I'm really going to grow. And then I grew the crop. And I didn't have problems selling the crop, because I went back to the same buyer, because he knew exactly what I had, because I produced based on what he wanted. If you understand what I'm saying.
I understand, but
right?
I have a question.
That's the issue. That is what is happening. So
okay,
that is what is happening. That is what is happening in agriculture right now, and what exactly we need to work on and change. So that we could address the issue of glut, and we could address the issue of scarcity, and more people we have on board thinking like that is when we could actually address that issue of glut and scarcity. So I don't have an issue with what you're doing, but what I'm saying is that let's look at it from a different standpoint and see whether it makes sense to us, yes or no. Remember, this is all about empowering you and allowing you to look at things different. All right?
Yes, I understand. Okay,
So
I
you
will
have a
message you
question?
privately. Yeah, I will take up the group time.
Okay.
So finish, it's
No,
okay.
no problem. Okay, but if it's something that would basically change the thought span of the other participants, you know, it probably might be good if you ask the question now.
Okay.
I know we're running out of time. I'm fully aware of that.
Okay, you said you identified a buyer, right? The thing is, I went to the supermarkets, but none of them wanted to sign, like have a contract. It's verbal. So then I might go and produce one crop, and then they don't want to take it because there's nothing binding them. So how do you go about that?
Well, you see, we will discuss a bit more in terms of how we select markets and contract farming coming up. And also you would have Telly, who will also bring up some of this issue in financial literacy, you know, how this affects you actually making decision and which buyer you choose and actually getting them to take the stuff. That is the thing. You have to communicate with your buyer. You create a network with them, and and what you're saying, I went through it as well. And I learned from that particular mistake. What I did is that now I communicate with them on a regular basis. So I would say to them, okay, I have butter beans coming in. I have butter beans coming in next 2 weeks, right? I would keep them up to date as to what is going on in terms of the beans. And then when it's time for me to harvest, I would pay them back a visit again so that I know actually how to harvest and when to harvest. Because the thing is that I have narrowed down. It is going to take you time, and you're going to do it somewhere along the line. You're going to get to that point. I have narrowed down the few buyers that I work with, and what they want, and how to actually communicate with them. I've gone to the supermarkets. I don't call anymore. I go to the supermarket now and I meet the persons who actually buy produce. I know them by name now. They know me by face and by name as well. So another thing that I've done is that marketing is not my strength. Literally, I'm telling you, production is where I'm really good at, and I'm actually just like you. I'm developing as well, and I am learning the art of marketing. What I did is that for me, I have persons who are really good at marketing, and I push them forward, and they would do the necessary marketing and provide me with the information who is in the production end of it, right? So I myself don't really fully do direct marketing. I have somebody that does that for me, if you understand. So you incorporate other persons and you build. Yeah, you build on person's strength that you have around you. You cannot do this thing alone, you know. You have to get help some way. All right. I realized that when I did me exactly who that I am, that was one of my fault. So I needed to adjust that, and that's what I did. I give the person who have that particular strength to work.
Thank
all
you.
Right. Good. I hope I answered your question.
Yes.
Edwards, her hand is raised.
Oh, okay. I'm still in the session that I told you about. 8 o'clock. It's about
Azuba.
Sorry about that. I didn't even realize my hand was still raised.
Okay, that's all right.
Hello.
Keithlyn, are you with us?
Yes,
Hello?
please. Good night. Yes,
Good night.
Keithlyn had to leave, so I'm leaving for now.
Okay, so Linnell, tell me, do we continue, or ladies, can we continue, or do you want us to stop?
Continue.
So I could take at least say,
how
much longer, Nisha?
Okay, so Rosette, we have to look a little bit at marketing the linkages themselves, and I think based on the questions that I'm getting now, I really need to touch on those a bit. And normally what I would do is I would say here what I would send you will see the slides, and then next time if there is any slide that you have problems with, we discuss it in session 2. But if you can just give me a 15 minutes, would that be too much, so that I could just touch on these things very quickly so that it leads into session 2?
No, that's fine. I just wanted to have an idea of how much time the extra slides would have taken. Yeah.
Okay,
no problem.
Right.
Go ahead. But I was making a statement about the hello.
Sure, I'm hearing you.
Yes, I was making a statement about the marketing. I know we come from a background where we decided, oh, I'm gonna plant some ginger, I'm gonna plant some whatever. But I know someone, they always, because they're from up Greg's, and they always, you know, Greg's is Dasheen and Edo's. So they always have this thing of, oh yeah, we planting Dasheen. And every time the person plant the Dasheen, the person never get the benefit of, like, for example, of either the machine I go down like up to $40, $30 a sack, or there's too much dashing at the same time, so the person don't really make a profit, and they still want to go dashing. So I say you have to find out what your customers want first before you can attempt to plant whatever. You can't go to say I'm going to plant something today, or you go sell. It doesn't go. I don't think it goes like that. You have to find out what's on the market, what will sell first, before you decide to really say, go and plant your crops.
Yeah, and you definitely have to establish a relationship with a buyer. It really don't make no sense you putting a crop in the ground, and at the end of the production cycle, you do not have a buyer. I had that issue with tomatoes. And basically right now you can't get me to produce tomatoes. I would not produce tomatoes. It makes no sense to me to do it, right? Where I am. But then you might be in an era that producing tomatoes is absolutely easy for you, and it makes sense doing it. So for me, I don't just take not just the market. I have a conversation with my buyer. And you know, everybody, we are importing a lot of our vegetables are imported, and we're thinking that they're local. They're not local. A lot of them are imported, especially in some of our major supermarkets. Give me your attention for the next 15 minutes or so. Okay, so somebody is asking for so DeLeon, if I pronounce that correctly, you want to look at market research, what it involves, and it would be interesting for you to know the systematic way that it's done. Okay, I would try to answer that question for you in the next session. It's not exactly a part of what the next session is asking for, but I would try to include a slide to answer that particular question for you. So let me jot that down. Market research. Okay. I actually have a slide on it, but I didn't include it because we had to basically condense the presentation. So I would try to see how best, if I don't answer it in terms of the presentation next week, I would provide you with the information otherwise. Okay. All right, great. So ladies, right, so let's look at marketing and where marketing. We have been having the discussion in terms of where marketing begins. And I would say that marketing begins before planting. That's what I would say. I don't know what your opinion, well, I've been getting your opinion for the past in the discussion. I don't know if anybody have anything contrary to the point that marketing should begin before planting. Anybody have anything different in terms of their view in terms of when marketing should begin? quickly? If not, I know I'm taking a couple more of your time, so let me, okay. Lynette, is it possible for you to go to the slide that that says agricultural marketing?
Okay, no problem.
Thanks. Should be next slide. Right. Okay, ladies. Now, when we were looking at the process for agribusiness activities, last one that we looked at, somebody was saying something. Okay. Right. So we were talking about agriculture marketing and what this would entail. Basically, agriculture marketing is about finding out what your consumers need and then making a profit by satisfying those needs. So it's market oriented and also profit oriented. Once you can understand agriculture marketing, you can have a very successful business. Very, very successful business. You just have to understand how do you play the different puzzles that fits in, or the different activities that is involved in agriculture and marketing. All right. If you, as I said, if you have questions in that log that you get, you just put it down, and then you can ask me all the questions next week, guys. I'll try and make sure I put in a section for that. All right. Then the next slide, because I'm taking time from these ladies. Okay, so the next slide basically looks at the activities that are involved in agriculture marketing. So cleaning, drying, sorting, grading, storage. In layman's language, it's basically all those activities that we do to add value to our product, right? So the cleaning, how we actually present it, whether we put it in boxes, whether we put it in sacks, as we say, or in bags, whether we store them at the right temperature, whether we sort or grade properly, so that at the end of the day, our consumers are happy. Those are all marketing activities. So the packaging, the advertising, the buyers actually selling the products, how we dress, which is also an issue that I've gotten from supermarkets, where supermarkets would say to me or say to us that when producers bring stuff, the way they carry themselves, they sometimes don't want to buy it. So that's very important as well in terms of marketing, how we conduct ourselves, whether we are actually selling on a given day or just walking through town, or how we're communicating with our friends in our communities. All that involves marketing. You're a farmer, that's how people see you, or you are a businesswoman, and that's how people see you. At the end of the day, how you conduct yourself, you might be surprised at how it actually influences how people see your business and how your business grow, right? So that's very important as well. All right, then next slide. Sorry, ladies, I'm rushing this. The things that I want you to take away in terms of agriculture marketing is these are, you need to know what your customer wants. You need to plan around what your customer and your customer wants, because remember, right? We have customers and we have consumers. So customers who we actually interact with initially, and then of course the consumers are the ones that actually use our final product. So we need to plan around both persons and see how we could actually improve our activities. And then we have to find the right product and service based on what our consumers and customers want. Okay, That's what I want you to take away from agriculture marketing. I had a little activity, but I won't bother with that. Lynette, can you pull up that slide? Let me see if it works. So this is what we will do. I would start next week's session with this slide. What is a market? I will not go into it now because I don't want to rush it. And we have basically gone over our time, and it begs for a bit of discussion. So I don't know, Linnell, I don't know if that's okay with you, that I start next week's sessions, God's willing, with this particular slide.
Yes, of course, that's okay.
Okay, so I would start next week session with this particular slide. We'll have the discussion on it. I have some questions to reply to next week. And also remember, we have 2 volunteers for a recap. That is Janelle and make sure I get the names right. Let me just make sure that. So that's Janelle and Labor Inca. Did I get that right? Those are the persons that will be doing recap.
No, it's Johnny.
Oh, so why I keep mixing up these names. Let me make sure I have that right. So I wrote, it's Janil King, right?
Yes, please.
Good. And Inca Labor.
Yes.
Is that right? Right, good. So I'm looking forward to the recap on Monday, on next week, Monday, God's willing, at 6. And I believe you would get the slides, right, Linnell? They would get the slides, and I would like you to go through the slides, just go through them, even those that we did not touch, and formulate your thoughts. And if you have questions, walk with them to the session so that we can run this part a little bit quicker, so that we can actually get into Monday's presentation. So with that, again, I apologize. I can't say sorry enough for the break in terms of the internet. I would try to make some adjustments on Monday and Tuesday next week, God's willing, so we don't have a break in the session. All right. Yes, the session is Monday and Tuesday next week from 6 to 8 p.m. All right. Nadik, quick question. I keep hearing about time and time. What exactly is the allocated time for these sessions? Okay. Right. Yes, Nadik, 6 to 8 p.m. Mondays and Tuesdays. All right. Any other questions before we go? Azub, I see your hand is still up. I don't know if you have a question. Okay, so Linnell, I guess we will call that a night tonight.
Yes.
And we will continue on Monday, God's willing. Thank you, ladies, for participating and being such a good bunch tonight. Again, I apologize for the break in the internet.
Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night.
This will be sent to you via email, WhatsApp, and our Facebook group.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.